Hi guys, so today we'll go over these two trades here on Wednesday and on Thursday, and we'll go over what an inducement range is and why I lost the Wednesday trade and why I won the Thursday trade. They're both basically because of this inducement range right here. So we'll start on the daily. At the start of this week, if you have watched my previous video, you will have known that we literally just swept a lot of higher time frame liquidity, and we swept this liquidity here, this one, and we entered a daily fair value gap and also a weekly fair value gap here. This whole week was pretty much a retracement week where we took out all these liquidity during Monday and then we started retracing for the rest of the week. A key thing to note is that on Thursday we have unemployment claims, which is yesterday, and on Wednesday there was not much heavy impact news at all. So if we look at this here, we went all the way up, swept all the liquidity that I just talked about just then, and then we started coming down. And so we created this 4-hour fair value gap on Tuesday, and I didn't actually take any trades on Tuesday because I was continuing that Monday trade. And then on Wednesday, I saw that we tapped into this fair value gap, and so on Wednesday here, I took a short here. And I'll talk about the reason why that short didn't work out and what I probably should have done instead. I probably should have taken a smaller size because of that unemployment claims on Thursday and because it's sort of in discount of the range. It's not really in premium, that's why. And so when I was talking about premium and discount in one of my videos, I remember saying that premium and discount really works, especially because it adds to the overall context of the trade. The overall context of this trade is that it is in discount and there's also no news, and the news is for tomorrow. So this makes it far more unlikely that this trade will play out, even though we had that 4-hour fair value gap. So we had that 4-hour fair value gap here with this bid tapped into that 4-hour fair value gap there, remember? So we had a 4-hour fair value gap tapped, and then we had a 1-hour fair value gap as well, bearish one here, as you guys can see here. And we also had an SMT here. So we had SMT, we had 1-hour fair value gap, and we also have a 5-minute fair value gap as well. We had a 5-minute fair value gap made the first time here, but it was really small. So I waited for another one, which is here, respecting this high, creating another fair value gap. So I entered there, stops above that high, and targeting that daily fair value gap there, which is the Monday's low. And it was a valid draw on liquidity. We had valid entry model and all that. We didn't really get a liquidity sweep, and we had higher time frame as well. So it was somewhat of a valid trade, but the main reason why was because we got stopped out was because it was really choppy during that day. We got chopped out, and we also were engineering liquidity for the next day. So if we guys see here, this is what we're going to talk about in this video, which is inducement ranges, which is basically trendline liquidity. Look at this here. This is basically liquidity at every single step of the way. We have like all these lows that are untapped is basically liquidity. So liquidity, 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 liquidity here, here, and here as well. There was all these lows where it's like it's literally so close, but it didn't take it out. See here? This low never took out this low. This low never took out that low, and this low never took out this low, and this low also never took out that low. So we left all these liquidity points here, even though this could have easily taken out that low, right? This could have easily taken out that low, but we left all these lows stacked really closely together. We have equal lows here, lows here, lows here, because we wanted to engineer liquidity for this push down. What happens is when we have all these lows stacked together, we get like people who long. We have them longing, and then we have stop losses being trailed. So whoever longed here for whatever strategy, they will keep their stop losses here. There's going to be a lot of stop losses trailed here, and then here, and then here. And instead of taking them out there, we save all that liquidity for this big fat move down there. So that's why I got chopped out in the first trade. So the confluences were all there. We had high time frame, we had a draw on liquidity, which is this daily fair value gap here. I'll just show you on the daily that draw on liquidity here. So this low right here into that daily fair value gap was my draw on liquidity, which we never tapped during the Wednesday. So we had draw on liquidity, we had entry model, we had high time frame, but the context was just not there. So on the next day, I took pretty much the same approach. I wanted to target that daily fair value gap, and I could have left the runner for the H4 as well, but I didn't really want to think too much about it anymore, so I just took that. And I had a 1 hour fair value gap here that we tapped into. I had a higher time frame SMT right here. We had, I think, a 4 hour as well that we were in here. A 4 hour, we went deeper into the 4 hour. And I don't know if we tapped into the equilibrium of the range, but it was definitely a lot more in premium than the other one. Yeah, we didn't fully tap into premium yet, but it was still sort of a lot more higher than the other one. If we were to even go from this range, then this trade would have been in premium and this trade is not. So that's the difference between these two. It's just the context. Is that this one had news backing it up. We had inducement range liquidity there, and yeah, like the timing was alright because of news and because of that inducement range. The drawn liquidity was still intact as well, which is why this Thursday trade worked out. So the higher time frame for the Thursday was H4, H1 fair value gap and SMT. And the entry model was just a 5-minute fair value gap probably. Oh yes. So this one, the entry model, I actually entered a little bit later. So after this 5-minute fair value gap got created, I entered here, stops above this high, calculating that. What I should have done was enter here in this one, because even in here we've already got everything. So we've already tapped into that H4 and H1 fair value gap, and we already got that SMT, and we already got that. But the reason why I didn't enter there was just because I missed it. It was pretty much as simple as that, because I wasn't paying too much attention during London, because my aim for London was not trade London because we had news during New York. So this was actually during London session, so that's why I didn't take it. But I took it towards here, which is like almost like at the end, which is pretty much at the end of London. So yeah, that's what happened for that trade. And if I took this trade as well, it would have been better because it would have been above midnight open and the risk reward would have been so much greater. But that's fine. That was the lesson learned there with the two trades, and it really puts together this nice story and this proper like analysis of the whole charts for this week. So if you guys haven't watched already the Monday trade, then go and watch those ones. They explain sort of what happened there with those two going up and how I got those two in one session. So I'll put the link to that trade right here, and yeah, I'll see you guys in that video. Bye.